we're back at Superbooth 2024. We've got Bastien from Syntonie. What's new?
What's new? So I'm showcasing Stable. So yeah, it's a processing amplifier for composite video.
In fact, actually, just before we go any further, just in case somebody's taken a wrong turn on the video, this is for video synthesis.
Yeah.
Okay, it's video synthesis. Yeah.
Now, even rather processing here, because it will take video input from the camera here.
Yeah.
And then the output is going straight to the recorder and the monitor.
Yeah. So, just to be clear, Stable typically processes a composite video signal.
Yeah.
Or if you go into high definition, it will process the Luma signal, the green signal. Okay.
So the main difference is that in composite we got both the Luma, the black and white information, and the chroma, the color information that are encoded in the same signal.
Yeah.
And so that's why we can act on the contrast, the brightness, the hue, and the saturation.
Yeah.
And when using it in HD to process the Y Luma from components, only the contrast and brightness will be can be processed. And the hue and saturation, we add like a kind of enhancer. And I don't know if I will be able to show it right now, but yeah, you cannot do hue shifting or saturation with the component Y signal because it doesn't contain any color information.
Yeah.
And so we can start adjusting, modifying some stuff. So the contrast obviously will boost the amplitude of the video. So the more it goes and the more extreme it gets. And it's I think it's a gain of 2 maybe. So around here we should be at nominal level.
Okay.
And then since it's it can also invert the video. Right now we got the normal signal, the original signal, but if I go the other way around, it starts inverting it. And then I'm also acting on the brightness of it, so it's
yeah. So, what kind of signal? This is composite. Is this a color signal that's going in?
Yeah, but right now, since the saturation is at the minimum position, we don't have color, or really a little bit. But if I start to put it up, we start getting color back, and then I can get it. And so yeah, this is the saturation control. And as the contrast, it can also boost the saturation.
Yeah.
And so it goes into more extreme color, and it starts having artifact because it's really high gain circuit.
Yeah.
And then obviously the hue shift changed the hue.
Oh, nice.
And then since all those parameters are CV controlled, I can use here I'm using Animate, which is a quadrature low frequency oscillator.
Yeah.
And so it can modulate all parameters, and all parameters are normalized together. So plugging something into the contrast CV inputs will also go to brightness, hue, and saturation.
Do they only normalize to the right, or can you plug it into any and it goes both ways?
No, it's from left to right.
Yes.
And so then, so right now we're modulating the brightness.
Oh, nice.
So it also inverts the signal. The contrast right now. And so it can also invert. Then the brightness can be controlled. The hue. So it just cycles through colors and saturation. Then I can increase the frequency on Animate, and so we can start.
Okay. What about changing them based off the new ramps module?
So to do so, there's a sync output at the back of the module.
Yeah.
But how it's configured right now, it's not connected.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I will use VU01C just so I can duplicate.
Multiple
so I can send the signal. So I'm restoring the connection to the capture and monitor, and then I will use the other outputs and send it to entrée. So now the system is synchronized, and so I can get, for example, the diamond shape, or maybe I can start with a ramp. It will be simpler, and have the ramp modulating now the contrast. And yeah, I can show if it's not synced. Obviously, it will start scrolling, so it needs to be synced. And so the sync outputs at the back of stable would make, like, for a small system, you could use like stable and ramp just together in a small system without the need of an encoder.
Brilliant, yeah.
And,
So effectively, that could form part of a standalone video system.
Yeah.
You could maybe use that in conjunction. So that'd be a standalone video system based around composite video, or potentially the Luma component. And if you did it based off composite, you could use it with something like the CBV one.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe I can show on the U shape. Then use another shape like the. It's not super obvious, but we got that. And then I can use, for example, I can use CBV to process the shape generated by ramp. And right now it's kind of generating its own thing. So, the shape gets destroyed by CBV1.
Brilliant.
And then what's interesting is
that's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's just the stable with this CBV. CBV 001. And you'd use, sorry, just that I understand that you'd use a CBV 001 to destroy the shape.
The modulation,
which they then use to modulate the stable.
And also stable has two 1 volt outputs. So there's a pre-processor output, so it's the input signal that just scaled from composite to 1 volt for.
So that's basically the full composite system, the full composite signal coming out of a single mini jack.
And so it can be used to modulate the parameters, and so it's interesting because it does some kind of wavefolding, solarization effect.
Nice,
right now it's also modulating.
I saw some of these kind of looks in the demo video that you put together. It's really strong.
And obviously I can use other module, like for example, I can use SAI to get a logic signal, like a keyed signal out of the video. And then instead of linearly changing, it will one or the other. And I can use it for the U.
I mean, I think what we'll do is we'll look at soil in a minute. But I think essentially that's stable. So if we do this and this is stable, and then we'll look at soil in a minute.
Definitely. Let's get back.
Is there anything else in stable that we want to look at?
Definitely. Let's get back. So I was mostly showing like the pre-processor outputs, but we also have the post-processor output. So the signal goes in, composite signal goes in through the processing amplifier with all the parameters, then goes out to the capture card. But we can also have the same signal converted to a 1 volt signal here. And what's interesting is that patching it back to the CV inputs, we're creating a feedback loop, and so we can get those like typical glitch effects. And of course, since as the name implies stable, the output signal will always be stable in the same manner as.
Is that because you've stripped the timing information out and you reinsert it?
Basically, all the it takes the sync at the input, separates it. You process, like do the contrast, brightness, hue, and saturation, and then reinsert the sync, the original sync, which means that you can get glitchy effects without losing the signal.
That's.
And so of course, then I can use CBV1, for example, to distort it.
Okay.
Then yeah, we get the typical CBV1 glitch effect. And so yeah, that's it for the processing amplifier part. And yeah, also it can be used to stabilize video signal, because maybe I can show what CBV1 will do to the signal if it's used on its own. And yeah, right now we got the signal. Yeah, that can be displayed, but once you start messing with it, you can see that it loses the picture pretty fast. And yeah, so that's why usually people will do rescan, so film a CRT to get the
I mean,
image.
I've got to admit, this is why I don't do much with glitch.
Yeah.
Because whatever I create, whatever I prepare, when I take it to a venue or something, I can't be certain.
Yeah,
it's going to be able to carry it in any meaningful manner.
yeah, and so you can also use a video mixer to do so, but yeah, it can be bulky, and and they're getting more and more rare because they are not produced anymore. I mean, there's still the Eddie roll ones that are produced, but yeah. But then if I'm using stable to get, so let me get some. I have the small one. And so I will take stable. You need to send the signal to the processor part first, because that's the one that will extract the sync.
Yeah.
And so I send it to the processor part first, then to CBV1, then back to the stabilizer part of stable, and then
so you can actually stabilize signals
from any other composite compatible glitch device.
Yeah.
And so now we have, as you can see, before the signal was dropping all the time, and now you can do anything to the signal and it will just
that's brilliant.
Stay.
Wow. Yeah.
And the last thing I want to show is that right now we're using CBV1 that has composites, that has RCA and composite video inputs. But we can also use any other module thanks to the post-processor output and the stabilizer inputs over mini jack. And so let's get back to, so if I just plug the post-prog out to the stabilizer in, it will be similar as being plugged at the processor output. But I can use, for example, Solar to process the signal further and then inject it back. Oh, let's get a longer cable. And then back, and here the whole composite signal is processed, so we still get the colors, and maybe I can do it like this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting because it opens up like composite video processing with all the 1 volt standard modules.
Yeah.
And so I can also try it with ISO-LE.
And the experimenter and then the hours of trying that kind of like search. It's like up on the Aussie.
And then the last thing I haven't explained yet, there's a switch to bypass the chroma filtering, because if you're working with
to bypass the what, sorry?
The chroma filtering, because to do the contrast and you to be able to process the color and black and white separately, I need to filter the composite signal into the luma and chroma. And if you're using it with the Y from components, you may not want, the Y is only black and white, you may not want this filtering. And so there's a way to turn it off, because I will show it later in the demo video, but if you don't do so, like an HD signal will appear blurry, because there's filtering involved for the chroma that isn't needed in HD. And I think that's pretty much it for stable.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Let's let these guys get on the system for a few minutes, and we'll look at something else in a minute after that.
Yeah.